Perfect. Cool. So everyone, welcome officially to Outscal. Today, I hate this Zoom feature. It interrupts all the time. But awesome. So today we have a very special guest. I think we'll dive into the orientation part later, but this talk I was very excited about having. I've talked to Manish offline a lot of times, and today I had the pleasure of hosting him officially as a guest on the Outscale sort of speaker series. So Manish, thank you for taking out the time. I really appreciate it, and I'll try to be as efficient because I know you're super busy. But just a quick introduction for everybody. Manish is currently CEO of Nazara Games. I'm sure everybody knows about the legendary story of the game company, multiple decades in existence, and then now going on to do an IPO. So welcome, Manish. Any sort of opening words, and then I'll start gradually with my questions.
Thank you. Mine, thanks for having me here, and it's for you. That's it. I really like you. I enjoy talking to you. So this is for you particularly, and to all the people who are fan of Outscale. Mike is building something great. So yep, keep it up. I think my sound is low. Is that what the message I'm getting?
Yeah, I think the mic might be. It's slightly better now. I think because you're moving closer, so it might be the mic distance. That's all.
I will just do that. Is it better now?
Yeah, I think much better. Much better.
Perfect. So yeah, man, this is for you, buddy.
So really appreciate it. So I think everybody today joining us is in some shape or form interested about game development as well as games as an industry and thinking about pursuing their passion in this industry, right? So and we are in a very classical position because India is now at the cusp of that inflection point where games are starting to become mainstream, right? You see people who are 45-year-old, 50-year-old having a smartphone and playing games like Ludo and a lot of like runner games and whatnot. We don't think ourselves about gamers per se, but we are still engaging with a good amount of time on games, right? So generally when people think about from a career perspective, hey, is this the right bet, right? How do you sort of advise young minds to thinking about building a long-term career growth for themselves in this industry as they're starting to take their first call in the industry, right?
I think, see, gaming has few roles. And I would say there are few roles which are very specialized, and there are few roles which are generic, right? Now, if you want to really kind of get to the heart of gaming, if you want to be a game designer, then you are making a call which is really a call which you should make if you're passionate about gaming. Because then you're slotting yourself right in the beginning of your career and saying that this is it. I come what may, I want to really be designing games and building games, and that's what I love, right? However, there are many other professions or functionals, right? You could be a good UI UX guy, or you could be a good engineer, you could be a good animation guy, graphics guy, marketing. Those are quite generic, and they are all relevant for any consumer internet company which you might really look at, right? If you're kind of really building a product role, in my opinion, and I may be biased, but having done this for last 12 years, and before that, having done other consumer product company, designing gaming as a product, in my opinion, is the pinnacle of a product manager. It's the joy, because the insanity of the consumer psychology which hits you is mind-boggling and mind-numbing, right? You may think that you are a really good product manager or a good game designer. In 3 seconds to 10 seconds, you will be brought down on the earth, right? And you may be coming from Rovio, or you may be coming from a small studio. Everybody starts with the same thing. A new game, you start from the same thing. You may be better with your experience, but if somebody can tell you that I have made 5 hit games, so my 6th game is going to be hit, you can wish him all the best, and don't put money on him.
don't definitely bet on that kind.
Right. So from that perspective, I think two cohorts. If you want to really passionate about gaming and you have decided that gaming is my life, then get into a very specific game design, product management roles. Otherwise, you can you can be involved in gaming in a more generic functions.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think there's a very strong parallel to what I see is that a lot of game companies are now hiring talent from other companies as well, like your regular Amazons and Microsofts of the world as well, right? Be it from a UX, UI perspective. But then there is a very sort of a parallel world, right? Here, if you have user experience and user design, that kind of translates over a lot into strong game design elements, right? And that's where specific knowledge of gaming becomes very important. uh,
I think gaming companies honestly have no choices in India, especially to not hire talent from outside because there are no colleges. I
yeah.
hope Outscale creates millions of people,
Fingers crossed.
uh, and we all can really choose. Otherwise, all of us have a job of taking the talent, bringing into the gaming mainstream, uh, training them, and then losing them.
Correct. Yeah, yeah. No, I think that's a very perfect analogy because I've been talking to so many companies and you've connected me to so many other companies under the Nazara portfolio. Everybody has the same problem that we have to first hire people from other industries, take the cost of actually training them internally for 3 to 6 months, and then only they start becoming protective. And after that while, they might get other opportunities with other game companies and they might move away, right? So companies are like in dire needs of the right talent. They're just not finding it because of that very specific reason, like you laid out. There are no colleges, there are no institutions that are focusing on this specialized industry, which has very special needs. So how are you sort of thinking about talent and talent? Because talent fundamentally is something that becomes a bottleneck. And Nazara already has such a big portfolio of game companies, some focusing in early childhood education to late age across multimedia houses and all, right? So how are you thinking and seeing this talent pipeline evolve, especially given the Indian context?
My honest answer is that guys who want to do gaming, right, they should not join companies
Mm,
because to create a game doesn't require cost,
mm,
right? To test your early fun matrices, you don't require 5 million people, right?
correct. Yeah, yeah.
Uh, I would love to see, honestly, uh, guys who are passionate game designers, product guys, graphics engineers. You need four people team, and then you can start your game. Uh, if you are 18, 19, 20, 22, 24, you don't have liability, and you truly want to live your gaming dream, make games, right?
Mm,
Uh, Today, the opportunities, if you are making game, is amazing. You have hyper casual companies paying you if they like your game, right? You have companies which are really like us wanting to invest in such startups and take funds.
yeah, yeah.
But the key challenge is there is a perseverance because for you to get that right, fun matrices, engagement matrices, it's easier said than done,
Mm,
right? So if you're truly passionate about gaming and want to give 2 years, 3 years of grind, I would say don't join. If Mayank
mm.
offers you a job, don't take it.
No, I won't even offer. The only criteria we look for is, are you really
Correct.
hardcore nuts about this industry and passionate about it? Then only you're fit for the program as well.
Yeah, exactly. So I think age, no liability.
Yeah.
If you can have that, take that risk. This is the most easiest industry to really crack because the game mechanics is nobody's purview, nobody's prerogative.
Yep, correct. And I think I really like the fact that you highlighted that, you know, it's all about that inner passion and drive, right? Because that is something I talk about 10 times a day, that people who survive the long journey in this industry and build the career long road, they're always the ones that are internally motivated and not driven by external motivation. So people who either love playing hardcore games, they think when they're playing games, they're breaking the things down. Oh, ये game में ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है? This game, why is this happening? Right? Like, why did the designer make it like this? The brain is always kind of running like that Mario guy and thinking about these kind of things.
Honestly, I was not a gaming guy. I was an FMCG guy selling detergents, right?
Right.
And when I got into gaming, exactly what you described happened to me, because I just love the thinking on why such mechanics has been designed and developed. And when I looked at data and looked at the design, and I said, "Oh wow, this insight is really working. Oh wow, this insight hasn't working." And I used to tell in Reliance Games, when I really dirtied my hands on game design, I used to tell all people who used to join freshers that for 1 month you're going to do nothing. We have lots of QA devices. You will pick up those devices and you will just play games. And you will write, irrespective of which function you are. You could be engineering, you could be
Yes.
designing, you could be anything, doesn't matter. Just write on what you like about it and what you think consumer like about it, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And to me, any function which you are associated, if you are not doing that, then you are just doing a job. You're not part of a gaming company. You're
Mm.
not passionate about gaming, you're doing a job.
Correct.
Irrespective of whichever function, the joy of seeing and understanding and seeing your own behavior and reflecting is amazing, and that's what really has kept me alive and going in gaming industry for last 15 years. uh, and I will urge each one of you to do that and not get buried under the minutia of day-to-day tasks, sprints, uh,
Yeah.
agile scrums, whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that journey is still like a good 6, 8, 9 months away for most of the guys here to start really thinking about. Right now, they're thinking about, do I want to even transition into this career and take that leap of faith in some sense? Because my parents might be saying, "Hey, why are you going into this small industry?" Whereas majority of people don't understand how big that actual industry is, right? Uh, so I think uh, generally when you see uh, people who are just making their first step and joining a studio, etc., right? How should they be thinking about in the next 3 years? How should like majority of people think about, hey, should I do 6 months in one company and try to switch to another and get different kind of experiences, or should I just stay for 3 years on a big project and that way I have something strong? So how do you sort of guide younger audience to think about their career roadmap for the first few years?
Time is not the right vector.
Hmm.
It is not the right. It is the learning opportunity which you are getting in that role or in that organization, right? If you are getting right set of people who can play along with your inquisitiveness, who can really, if you should be inquisitive in gaming,
Yeah.
honestly, and you should not be worried about right or wrong question because nobody knows anything,
Hmm.
right? And if there are people around you who are appreciative of your inquisitiveness, and you can get few people who can explain you what's happening and why is it happening, right? I think that environment is priceless.
Hmm.
And if you've got that environment in which your exposure can be of variety of things through your proactive nature as well as through the process and culture of that organization, I think you should not leave at least for 3, 4 years till your foundation is very strong, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
However, if you are kind of stuck in a compartmentalized organization which says that we have given you this task and you do that, and then it's no different than any other engineering role or any animation role or
Hmm.
anything.
Hmm.
And if you feel that you are not getting by or what, then move out from that company. That's not a right gaming company.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the key here, if I have to sort of summarize that, would be like mentorship. If you're getting the right mentorship from within the company to explore the things that you want to explore and get your hands dirty with, I think then that's the right place for anybody to stay in. And like you said, I think time is not the ideal vector. Majority of people think in terms of time. They don't think in terms of learning trajectory, right? How is my learning trajectory shaping up? So I think
And trust me, if your learning trajectory is high in the first 3 years, your career velocity is going to be very high
correct. Yeah,
because what you have picked up will come very handy because there are very few people who will know after 3 years the kind of breadth and depth you will have.
Right. Yeah. So I think there are a couple of really interesting questions that have come up in the chat, so I'll just curate them as well. So one question came in as whether a CSIT person, non-CSIT person can succeed in the gaming industry, but I think I'll rephrase it in such key. How can a non-computer science person really excel in the game industry?
If you are fond of sitting in a mall and looking at people and trying to see what they are doing, uh, you will be very good in gaming.
Majority of people will not understand. I think we need to elaborate a little bit on
If they
this
can't
context.
understand, they need to think.
So the similar example that I give is like airport watching. So if you are waiting in an airport lounge for your plane to board and you are watching other people, you're basically people gazing. You're gazing out in front of people, observing their pattern and making notes. Okay, we'll leave that as it is, and we'll leave it as a cryptic question for people to figure out. So if somebody is able to figure out, please share it in the Discord community. I'll give you an A star or something. I love it. Love it. Okay, good. Abhishek is asking, what are your general views on the console gaming ecosystem compared to mobile gaming, given India is very heavily sort of tilted towards mobile audience first, but from the development side of the companies and the talent pipeline, how are you seeing that shape up?
So there are couple of companies in India which are doing game developments as service for AAA games in India, right? And they are the very large employer
Hmm.
in Bangalore, in Gurgaon. And if somebody wants to really work on those AAA titles, today you have an opportunity to work from India while these studios are very big marquee names sitting in US and Canada and other places. I think that opportunity is there to learn and to sharpen your thinking because you are getting an opportunity to work some of the best IPs, right? However, if you want to build your own IP, your own product for console, I think it's a long grind, and you need to be really looking at the right product quality. There are few
Hmm.
examples which have come up in India recently, and then you can really figure out your distribution strategy on Steam platform and see, or PC or Xbox or Sony and Xbox platform. But I think I would encourage people to start first learning the ropes in console or PC based AAA title companies which are offering that before you kind of really look at creating your own full-fledged product on PC console because the quality standards and benchmarks and the depth of the game is very different.
Hmm. Yeah, I think one thing I'll add on here is there's a concept that I stole from somebody else. So please, like, there's nothing original. I'm just paraphrasing from Twitter. There's a concept called permissionless intern. Uh, that's something I really love and I encourage. If you like a game or a company, just go do something for them for free. Like, don't even worry about asking for permission. Replicate a mechanic that they have built and show them how it can be improved, or find a bug in their game and tell them how they can potentially fix it, etc., without expecting anything in return. And more or less, you will get something good in return, anyways.
Correct.
So I think that is something I really love. But yeah, I think this what I usually encourage a lot of people to do. Don't wait for opportunities to show up. Create your own opportunities.
So let me just finish off the. If you are wanting to build in India for India, then
Mm.
I would strongly suggest focus on mobile and mobile platform because that's where if you succeed, you can succeed big because anyway, probability of success in creating content is low. And if you're creating for Indian market, you should create for mobile so that you can at least have volume and you can get then funded and all of it.
Yeah. No, I think that's good. Paula is asking, the gaming industry has so many different options. And if somebody's thinking about entering here, you have your developers, designers, artists, 3D, 2D, animators, etc. Right? So would you recommend people to just like, how would you recommend people to figure out that within this industry, if they narrow down their scope, fuck yes, I want to work in gaming. How do I narrow down my focus if I am, let's say, a generalist and probably can dive into
I will
anything?
give you a simple thought process. If you take a blank sheet of paper and if I give you 5 circles on that blank sheet of paper to each one of you and say you figure out what you want to do, you are in a gaming company. Some of you will create a story around them. Some of you will do a physics diagram, make a mechanics. Some of you will kind of fill those circles with a strategy of how to grow. So different people will do something different, and trust me, everybody will do something, right? That will tell you what is your true inclination. Uh,
Hmm.
and if you are, let's say, somebody who really loves, who has made mechanics, right? You could be a very strong engineering plus, engineering guy who could build those engines. If you are somebody who has written a concept but don't know how to kind of redo it, it could be a good design, concept design guy, right?
Hmm.
So fundamentally, since it's a passion, it's a combination of left and right brain. Figure out what you really enjoy and do it, right? Uh, if you could be a very good creative guy, but very strong in engineering, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And you can think of game mechanics and you can make those prototypes and you can really figure it if you enjoy that kind of stuff. If you're a very good animation guy and who can visualize how will this mechanism will move, how will this character move, then really look at. So depending upon your inclination, your liking, you can really make choose which function of gaming you want to touch upon.
Yeah. Usually, I ask students to try out a 21-day litmus test here, where the approach is like, let's say, like Manish mentioned, like if you want to think about animation, you have no idea what animation might be, right? But simply pick up some YouTube tutorial, etc., and for 21 days, just do animation. If you forget that the 21 days are over, then you know you love animation so much that you can continue doing it. And if you have not yet reached 21 days and you're already regretting, why am I doing this, etc., those kind of questions are coming up, you don't love it enough. It gives you a very clear idea, can I do something non-stop 21 days and still love it and continue doing it, etc. So that becomes a very hard limit for people to kind of box themselves in and say, am I able to do engineering only or designing only and something like that. So it's kind of on extension lines of what Manish mentioned. Shikhar is asking a sort of a more broader question that now with sort of gaming, there are a lot of startups also that are coming up in the gaming ecosystem. At least personally at Outscale, we have seen like probably more number of startups crop up in the last 6 months than ever. Like, and it's really hard to get a sense of who's doing really good quality work, who's might not even survive the next 6 months, right? So from a talent perspective, when they're jumping into this industry and talking to so many young companies, how should they assess, and probably even like how you would assess if these companies were reaching out to you, right? I think the parameters to assess them in terms of good company versus bad company probably
I
are the
think
same.
it's impossible to assess,
Hmm.
right? It's like Mayank can make a good movie, or Malhar can make it, or Sarthak can make it, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
I don't know. I'm saying that I can at best hear your story. I can hear at best your idea, right? And then I like your face. And then I say, okay, this guy has energy. He looks like committed. His story seems to be okay. Let's kind of see it. Because you really can't
Is,
decide it's a
is
good
that is
company.
that what you did in my case when we were talking about Outscale the very first time? You're like, this guy looks okay. We can talk fine. And
Well, that's exactly that's what I did. Because yeah, and I said that yeah, good guys, energy, right vibes, has right depth of thinking. Let's build rapport with him,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So I think in a very early stage company, you can't really judge besides the founders, right?
Hmm.
And if somebody is joining a startup, spend some time with the founders, right? Affable, energy, approachability, accessibility, mentorship, which we spoke about,
Yeah, yeah.
are these things which you can see it happening, right?
Hmm.
And if most importantly, is there a kind of a family? Do
Hmm.
you kind of feel like spending 16 hours of a day
Hmm.
with these people? Because gaming 16, 18 hours के बिना होती नहीं है.
Correct. Yeah, yeah.
So can you really spend time like you will spend, maybe family is a wrong example for the youngsters. They don't like to spend time with family. So, but can these be your friends? Can these be your roommates? Imagine them as a
Hmm.
roommate, and can you live in the same room with them, right? I think in a very early stage startup of four, five, six people, look at those aspects, and then make a call.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think that's absolutely perfect. It's very hard to judge anything from the outside unless you start working on it. And I think uh, even if you get the right feeling, the right vibe, like Manish said, just give them 15 days and start working, right? Tell them, hey, I'm going to continue working for 15 days. If I don't like it, I'm going to walk away. If you don't like me, you let me go. It's fine.
And if a gaming company guy does not agree with this kind of arrangement, then he's not the right guy.
He's probably not building it the right way and not thinking about it the right way as well. Yeah, perfect. So I think there was one more question I lost. Yeah, there's this. So somebody is asking regarding the ARVR industry. How are you seeing the ARVR play out? Because this is a reality or a future version of gaming that we were promised long back, but hasn't yet kicked off, at least from a consumer perspective, right? So what are the, is there any bold bet that you want to make regarding ARVR?
See, as a technology, I truly believe the level of immersive experience which ARVR offers for gaming specifically, because ability for you to become a character in the game and play it out, especially in a multiplayer environment, is amazing. It's mind-boggling the experience which you can really get into, right?
Hmm.
I believe the commercial monetization of it is kind of limited with the whole hardware apparatus and the whole uh, the cost of that,
Hmm.
because a true immersive experience means a very good quality headset, which is like your PC gaming, console gaming, kind of really creates a friction. Second thing is having something around your head. As human beings, we are not very comfortable, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It has to become something in form and shape, which is, if you take it on your stride, it's like Apple Watch,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Something has to become so part of you, so intuitive that you don't feel that you have to really get into a gear, right? And I think that techno innovation in the hardware form shape will make it a truly immersive thing, and then the commercialization of that will kick in. uh, Nazara, such deep tech bet is not our cup of tea,
Hmm.
right? And we wouldn't like to take that. Um, we are more, as a company, more content creation company rather than such fundamental deep tech bets company.
Got it. But from an individual perspective, do you see like some pattern emerge for the future next 5 to 10 years in the same ARVR
Yeah,
space?
5 to 10 years in such tech space is like fluke. I don't want to
Hmm.
kind of just a thuk patti here.
Yeah.
That's like, but I'm very sure. I truly believe tech will deliver what we want. And the
Hmm.
experience I have had of the AR devices or VR devices and playing game, I think that is the future, right?
Hmm.
Do I know in what form, shape will it manifest? I don't know, right?
Hmm.
But I'm sure great brains, which are very R&D focused, will be working to make it happen,
Yeah.
because it's so natural for this to happen.
Yeah. And like Facebook has the dedicated team now working with Oculus and all, right? Who are always pushing the boundaries of what the devices can do,
Right.
and like making the devices sort of without battery, so without wires and all. Okay. So okay, I think I didn't see this question, but this one I'll add it from my side. Um, from a startup lens perspective, because I know a lot of our students are actually always thinking about, should I start my own studio instead of joining? Should I look at building a own proof of concept and getting it out there and see if I can get some early funding to start building a small team to get the full version of the game or app out, etc. So from a broader lens perspective, what are the kind of opportunities that you are seeing in the gaming ecosystem?
See, Mayank, India is a painful country for a
Hmm.
early stage risk capital in gaming.
Hmm.
And I truly want to solve that, right? Because leap of faith to take on a content is so difficult
Hmm.
here,
Yeah,
because you're not solving a delivery problem, you're not solving a some friction convenience problem,
correct.
right? uh, and as I said, you have to just take a leap of faith on the persons and the team, not person, the team's combined capability to do that,
Hmm.
right? uh, there are very early stage programs are not there,
Hmm.
right? And I believe as the industry evolves, more exits happen from gaming itself. The gaming companies, employees who have made money will support such companies,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
And we as Nazara would love to do that. And we would love to very soon, and you and I can chat separately, how to really create a cadence, create a program where we can support
Yeah.
such ambitious startup, which it's always is going to be a good competition, because I am seeing huge number of startups coming in, right? Within that early stage startups, how can we really take that very quick bet, very fast bet,
Correct.
give them freedom to fail, give
Yeah.
them long room for experimentation. I think that's what I want to fundamentally do in this country, and we can work together on that.
Perfect. No, I love it. I will definitely, I'll note it down and follow up with you separately
You
on
can
this as
take
well.
me up on that.
Perfect. I think that, but that's not just even an India problem, right? India has a good amount of capital to be the right catalyst to solve that problem. But like having spent time in the Bay Area in Silicon Valley as well, I know there's nothing like that even in US, right? Nobody really like there are so many startup incubator programs and whatnot, right? But there's nothing around the gaming ecosystem. It's just complete silence. So I think there's a lot of opportunity in the
So
overall
which is
ecosystem.
why if you see the rich hall of game developers come from Europe.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because the kind of community support, government support which they
Exactly. Yeah.
get
Yeah.
is mind-boggling there. And it's no surprise that you have area around UK, you have area around Central
Mhm.
Europe, you have area around Baltic, Nordic,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you see rich hall of developers coming out.
And I'm surprised that so many EU-based countries have so many early stage grants for game companies to let them actually start building
Yeah,
games out, publish them out and all.
yeah. In fact, few people I know have gone to Portugal, and then they've taken advantage of the
Mm.
Portugal ecosystem as well as access to EU, and created a lovely startups, or joined companies there.
Yeah, I think this is something that personally is my sort of long-term vision, that we should be able to, Outscape should act as that catalyst to enable a lot of the growth in
Yeah,
the gaming ecosystem, whatever we can do in our farm. So
I agree.
I'll 100% take you up on that offer.
Done.
And I'll reach out to you very soon around
Yeah, yeah.
how
No,
we can think
let's
around
lock it
something
down.
like
Let's lock it down next week and launch it here.
चलो perfect है अभी अभी ये वाला batch start हो रहा है इनको तो onboard कर दूँ so but yeah perfect so I think in we already overshoot, so I'll be very respectful of your time and really thank you for joining us. I think you threw in definitely a lot of bouncers for people to think about, but then I didn't expect anything less from you as well. So if anybody did not understand any questions, the recording will be available. Watch it carefully and ask me more details. I'll be happy to answer offline to you guys so that you are able to absorb. And there were a lot of really important kindles of learnings in there. If you go deep into like the airport analogy, observing people, a lot of those pieces would be really interesting as you think. So perfect, Manish. Thank you again once again for joining in, and we'll love to have you sometime again, maybe in months from now.
All the best to entire batch. Have fun, guys. Enjoy. That's what gaming is all about.
Yeah.
Take care. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thanks, Manish. Take care. Bye.